Let's take a look at an In Focus brochure talking with your teen about alcohol and other drugs. How would you do it? What's it good for? It's going to help? You bet. First of all, be prepared. Educate yourself about the substances that your high school child is likely to encounter. If you can show them that you're a reliable source of information and not simply a disciplinarian, your words are going to carry weight. Spend time researching the most popular new drugs available and read recent news articles about drug activity. Be ready to share the information you learn with your high schooler. Find out what trends are popular among students in your area, such as huffing fumes or using over-the-counter drugs. If friends at school appear to be better educated than you about what drugs are available and what their effects are, they will seem more trustworthy. Once you have shown that you know what you're talking about, you're going to be ready to establish guidelines and authoritative rules. You can anticipate the hard questions. Decide ahead of time how to answer the question, did you do drugs when you were younger? If you drink alcohol yourself on occasion, be ready to explain why it is okay for you but not for them. Prepare an explanation for why prescription drugs are dangerous even though they're legal. Be smart. Knowing what to say is part of your responsibility, but knowing how to say it is probably more important. Striking the balance between authority and friendship is difficult in any parent-child relationship, but when the topic is alcohol and other drugs, it is even harder. Think about your words before you say them, and never lose your temper. Going off on a tirade is a sure way to show your teen that you're impossible to talk to, especially about something like this. Don't underestimate your teen's ability to see through your words. If you used drugs in the past, be honest about it. If you have an alcohol problem, don't try to cover it up. Let them know. You don't want them to have it, right? Admitting mistakes and talking about the consequences you suffered makes you more trustworthy, not less. Your teen already knows you are not perfect, so there's no need to pretend you are. Talking with your high schooler as an equal when it comes to your own failures will show them that it's okay to admit their own mistakes. Be patient. How have you responded in the past when your teen has approached you after making a mistake? If your normal reaction is to lose your temper and impose heavy penalties, your high schooler is unlikely to come to you for help after giving in to the temptation of drinking or getting high. It is critical to lay the groundwork of a patient, understanding attitude in response to failure, and to make sure that your teen knows they can tell you anything without fearing an explosion of anger. If your high schooler is at a party and has no way to get home other than riding in a car driven by an impaired friend, you want them to feel like they can call you for a ride home instead. If they are terrified after experiencing a hallucinogenic high for the first time, make sure that you're the one he comes to for help first. Be real. Tell the truth. Don't imply that using marijuana once will kill you or that alcohol carries no enjoyable qualities whatsoever. Scare tactics don't work with them. High schoolers can tell when they're being exaggerated at, and they only hurt your own credibility. A balanced position and calm, accurate conversations about substances will show that you trust your teen enough to tell them the truth. There we go. He's being honest. He's being open. Oops, she's not very happy. And here we are having a conversation over here. Getting that straight. And here's the rest of them. Okay. All right. There we go. Be firm. Let your teen know your expectations. Explain to them that unlike other misbehaviors, the consequences of abusing alcohol and other drugs can lead to addiction, injury, and death. Because the risks are so great, your parenting style may be different for this issue than it is for others. Reassess and adjust your tactics if necessary. Be flexible. Recognize that each teen is different. If your child is well educated about the negative impact of alcohol and other drug abuse but continues to use substances, what are your options? If they're uncooperative or dishonest, what are you willing to do to protect them? Would it help to draw a hard line? Should you drug test your teen? These harsh tactics may be useful if they're building blocks to reforming a relationship of mutual trust and respect. Ideally, an ongoing open, honest, and informed conversation with your teen will strengthen your relationship, build harmony, and hopefully lead them to making the right choices when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. It's never too late to talk. There are a few topics that nearly all parents of high school children dread talking about. Alcohol and other drugs top that list in most families, and parents often tend to avoid the subject in order to keep a peaceful atmosphere at home. After all, teens get plenty of prevention and education at school, right? Most students have already been exposed to alcohol and other drug use at school by the time they enter high school, and they need the support. help, and advice of their parents in order to avoid making life-changing mistakes. There are many things that you as a parent can do to encourage meaningful conversations with your high school child about saying no to alcohol and other drugs. First of all, be approachable. Most high school students seem to view their parents as distant, disconnected from their lives, and unable to understand them. You can prove them wrong by making it clear to your teen that their life is your top priority. Take every opportunity to focus on what your teen says to you and never brush off a conversation that they initiate. You never know where a conversation could be a turning point in a high schooler's mind about whether or not to try drugs. Make your interest clear by asking questions, remembering past conversations, and setting aside important tasks to spend time together instead. Be proactive. Here you see, be proactive. Let's get back. There we go. Be proactive. Don't wait for a crisis to occur before bringing up the subject of alcohol and other drugs with your teen. Even if you have never discussed this topic in the past, it is never too late to have a conversation. Devote the conversation to the dangers of alcohol and other drugs with them. If you open the door to discussion before problems arise, it will be much easier for your high school to approach you later if a serious situation arises. If you suspect they are already experimenting with substances, address it. Don't stand aside and hope that your child will come to a good decision on his own. For many parents, this means going against their natural tendency to avoid confrontation. It is worth the discomfort, however, to prepare your teen for the peer pressure challenges that they will face. Stand on the authority of the law as well. Make sure your teen knows that there are stiff legal penalties for underage drinking and for abusing both the legal and legal drugs. So reach out. Your parents, you're the anti-drug. 800-662-HELP. And you can also get them at www.theantidrug.com. The Anti-Drug. That's you, parents.